Amen and good morning. Song always gets me. Love it. I love that version of it. Happy Tuesday, this September the 9th, 2025, 6:06 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hope you're doing well wherever you are. I am the Cornbread Man, Dave in the AM. Rob will be back with me tomorrow for the SFP morning show. Just remember SFP morning show is always me and Rob. Then I also do the Cornbread Man morning show and Patriot morning show. So just so you know the different ones that we do. And then, of course, all of our night shows. And I don't know why my thing is acting up this morning. Technology. We always complain, but it's always fun to complain about it because it's the bane of our existence is to have technology that does not want to function with us. So we'll see if we can get that working. But good morning. I hope you have a great day today. It is going to be, the weather is great here, cooler temperatures. I mean, this is the kind of weather you like to get out and get some things done in. It's not very nice during the day, very cool at night. We have very little rain in our area. I don't know about where you live. I hope that the weather is, it's a masterpiece right now. It's God's master stroke of weather right now. It's just absolutely beautiful. Also, tonight, got a debut of two new shows. Two new shows tonight. We Tuesday's kind of an open day. I usually leave it reserved for when Dean is off to do sports shows and racing shows, and then I'll throw in one. We actually may have the debut of three shows, but one of them will be on TikTok only. We didn't get that started last night. I had a lot pushing, but we're going to start a daily half hour. That'll be me, Monday through Friday, most likely on TikTok. I'm still working out the details of what I want to do on that show to be unique. It won't be the same as anything else we do. So I'm still working out what I want to do with that, and also introduce all those folks to everything else we do. So it'll have a lot of different purposes. But tonight, the debut of America First series, interview series that I'm doing with people from all walks of life about their patriotism for their country. Now, wherever you live, and we do have people that listen from other countries, this is not to diminish your patriotism for your country, but we are from the land of the free and the home of the brave, and we are the beacon of light for freedom across the world. Mock us, put us down, whatever you want to do, but America is the best nation on the planet by far. And we have problems, yes, but it's still a great nation. And the interview series will let them decide. It's their story, how their patriotism was shaped and formed and grow over the years they've lived. James is about my age, and what does America First mean to them? Because I have found that it means different things to different people, and that's what the interview series is for. This is something you'll see me doing. It won't be me and Rob, it's just me, and it's a series I've been wanting to do for some time. Secondly, and this can Rob is welcome to join in if he wanted to. I'm just saying this is something you'll see me do, and then the debut of our pet show, and we have a lot of followers that are pet lovers and owners and lovers and stuff, and we wanted to kind of give something towards them and very much in their, as we call it, the sweet spot on the bat, the home run swing, something that they can really get in and get behind and really just come up. We'll have different guests that's going to come up, talk about their pets, and it'll primarily be dogs and cats. But we'll talk about your pet turtle. That's fun too. We'll talk about farm animals. We've got folks that's going to come on and be able to talk about that. Southern Paws and Claws is the name I've decided on. And we have a show called Front Porch, so we're going to call it the Furry Front Porch. So the background will be that dogs and cats on the front porch, and we'll have some fun with it. It'll be something that we'll talk about. The care of animals, how your animal communicates with you, the good vets, good kennels and stuff. Somebody wants to brag on their service or someone they've used, and also we'll cover news about animals, laws concerning animals in different areas. And, unfortunately, yes, we will expose those who are animal abusers and get that information out there, so there may be a need to help. And many times there is getting homeowners, someone to give them a home, a temporary home. We'll also be partnered with Animal Rescue Alliance. We always partner with them. So But we also, in my area, will also highlight McCamey Animal Center. If I can speak this morning, McCamey Animal Center, and we will talk about those things as well. So that will be the two new shows tonight, and those shows should be weekly. Weekly, I'm just trying to decide the time slot. It probably will end up being the pet show will probably end up staying on Tuesday. The other show, just because we've been trying to work out the logistics and we've had to put it off, oh my goodness, four times I think. We got our wires crossed and schedules and everything. I envision that one being maybe later in the week, but we're still working that out. So, but it could even be a Saturday morning show along with Southern Talk. So we're working that out. We also have a wrestling show that we've been doing. We did one with Jake, and there might be a little surprise in that. Not with that show. We'll still do that, but there may be a surprise along the way this week because we'll do that once a month, and we'll come back together for that show again on Sunday night, 10-ish. I think it was around 10, 9, 10 when we kicked off on that one. And we'll do that again every month with Jake, who is a creator himself and loves wrestling. But there may be a surprise or two along the way about that. So we will see. We're putting together some things now. And there's still a couple of shows out there, a history show, a music talk show that we're going to sprinkle in. But that doesn't take away from the news shows we do or the nightly shows, the sports and racing, which will be tomorrow night. Starting probably around 5:30 ish, we'll get the racing show. We're behind on that. My co-host has been sick, a lot of sickness going around. We will absolutely get that going and the racing show. Those have been very successful shows, and we're excited about them. So let's make sure some of the channels run a little slightly behind. Also, we're very pleased, and we want to, Rumble you just should have a Rumble channel. We do Rumble exclusives, and I would look for a little more of that in the future. In fact, we're coming from Rumble Studio this morning. We don't always do that. We usually come out of StreamYard and then kind of tie in all these systems together. But I do a lot from Rumble Studios exclusively, but we do some shows that are really just exclusive to the channel. So we do that. Our Southern Fried Vent show is a Rumble exclusive, and there's going to be some more of that. So get your Rumble app; it's free. Go premium. You may see us do an ad about that in a few minutes or something else. But Pickaxe now is on board, and we're streaming live on Pickaxe as well. We're like many of the creators, they're getting verified. It's a kind of a pre-launch. It's out there on the desktop. All the mobile versions are not available yet, but it looks great. We checked it out last night. So Pickaxe is it's getting out there. It's growing, and everybody's got a referral code. It kind of gives them some. I think we've had 6 referrals off of the address that we've sent out. I believe, if I remember right. But I'm pulling up and was pulling up and looking at it, uh, just looking at how those things look. So anyway, we're still learning about that. That's something that's kind of new for us, and we're still getting used to the technology on that. So anyway, just a quick news and notes about it. But hey, and also I want to say now we do a daily called the SFP News Nation, sponsored by the Cornbread Nation Radio, which is our radio station. It's 24/7, and we're fixing to do a lot of massive things with that too, as go live there. And we haven't done that yet. We just keep shows up on the channel, but it'll start going live with us soon. We've just been kind of busy in other areas, but that was always the intention. But we do a daily. It's a 2 to 4 minute. This morning is a little longer because I had a special on it, but 2 to 4 minutes of a daily news, veterans, uh, pets, and Bible verse. And we do those Monday through Friday. And this morning's the vet involves a gentleman that is deceased now. His wife is still living, and I talked to her, told her I wanted to honor him today, and I did that. And I sent the video to her on Facebook. So we didn't get into all the streams late last night. I tried to do that the night before. We'll get them out this morning. But I did ring it up in the studio this morning. I'm going to try to play that now. And here's today's, Cornbread Nation, SFP or Cornbread Nation news. And let me see if this will play. Good morning, Southern Fried Podcast, News Nation. I'm your host, the Cornbread Man, aka Dave in the AM. Dave with you here this morning for the news, and we continue to look across the seas as escalations continue between Russia and Ukraine, with more uh, drones and missiles coming into Kyiv and more civilian and infrastructure places being hit. The Europeans and the Americans are huddling to determine next steps on some sanctions to increase those against Russia. Over in Israel, and specifically in Gaza, both areas really, as Israel prepares to go in, and ultimatums have been made about the hostages that are still there, those that are living and or deceased. Violence has broken out in Israel. Two attackers attacked Israelis at a bus stop. 6 killed, 12 injured, many scattering, bullets riddling the soldiers nearby on duty. Were able to take out the attackers. So stay tuned as things escalate in both of these regions. And then domestically, the president is telling companies, because of these illegal workers that some of them have hired, basically to clean up their act, that they'll be looking at this more in depth. That's the news this morning. We want to get to our veteran. It's a very honorable veteran. All veterans are honorable, but for this one's a very special one for me, a neighbor of mine. And we say a shout out to his wife, who is still with us. And I thank her for the information. I've known him my whole life, and we have a lot of memories, and we appreciate his service so much. Edwin Hodges, United States Air Force, September 1967 to October 1969. Through the years 68 and 69, he served in Vietnam. The Red Horse Special Ops, date of birth 1948, and then passed from this life to the next, 2/13/2020. We will see you again, buddy. Thank you, sir. We salute you for your service to this country and for the hardships that you carried with that. We know soldiers go through a lot, especially those that saw war or different things and the hardships that they go through. We care very much for our veterans, and we hope that they will get the help they need. These things are very, very difficult when we think of those traumas that they went through and the things that they've seen. God bless our soldiers. God bless the military today and those who have served, whether it's in war or peacetime. We thank you for your service to the country in keeping us free. Thank you, Miss Judy, for the information. I know it's still hard. We appreciate you and love you very much, and I hope this is a blessing to you. Our Bible verse today, Genesis 28:15, and behold, I am with thee and will keep thee in all places whither thou goest. Amen. Absolutely. And finally this morning, yes, our animal of the day, Sage, at the McCamey Animal Center. We see mixed breed, female, 46, almost 47 pounds. And just like her name, Sage is a gentle soul with a warm and calming presence. This friendly girl is always happy to make new friends and already knows sit. Sweet, affectionate, and full of love, Sage is ready to bring a little wisdom and a whole lot of joy to her forever home. And we thank you for watching this morning. Join us each day, Monday through Friday, for the SFP News Nation. We'll see you again tomorrow. Take care, and God bless. And there you go. It's a Monday through Friday. That was the one that is going out today. We don't always play them during the show, but this morning seemed to be the right thing to do. And also just getting more used to the studio. I don't use, we're still, because we've went so much out of StreamYard, we're so used to that. Because things are slightly different in Rumble, nothing too hard, but just getting used to control so we don't bungle the thing up, I told Rob I was going to get used to it that way when we do some together out of the studio. I'll have to show him or do it or whatever. So Anyway, just getting used to different things. It's kind of like driving a car. You know your car. You know where everything's at. You get in a different car. How to turn the windshield wipers on is different. Just everything's moved. It looks different. Sometimes it's labeled different, and it feels awkward because you're trying to remember. Okay, where's this button at, or where's this at? That's kind of the way I feel. I'm coming over to Rome. It's a lot less now. I'm really getting used to it. But the first couple of times, it was like I was like afraid to touch anything. Like, okay, which one's which? What do I do here? So it's getting more used to it. So after our discussion last night about shots and COVID and everything else, we may get booted off everything. We may be right here in Rumble Studio. I don't know. We didn't intend to go down that road, but we did. Last time we did that, we got struck for a week by one of them. So we're waiting to see. We're not holding our breath though. If it happens, it happens. It doesn't matter. But uh, let's pray for the country. We have, I just feel like we're getting a little bit more involved in some very ugly conflicts. I feel like it. I'd like to see a slowdown on them for the main reason. Well, two reasons. One is keep the carnage away from people. They're having to live through that crap, and then two is I just don't want our country invested involved in forever wars that some people can say, well, it's the old excuse, better to fight it there than to fight it here. Well, I get that, but I don't think in either case that this is actually something that's going to come our way. Could be wrong, but I don't think that, at least not in the next foreseeable future. It is something for them to handle, and they need to handle it. But we don't. I do not want to see American forces involved in this and dying in that theater of war. Sometimes war is necessary, but war is hell. It's ugly. It's people die. Let's just face it. People die, and I'm not willing to see our boys and girls boots on the ground or anything like that. I don't want to see them flying sorties over the nation either. And the president's kind of spoke about that of air support for the Europeans. Well, let them provide their own air support. They're always bragging about their military expenditures and their planes and their this and their that. Well, let them fly over it. If that's something for it. Yeah, it is on Rumble, but last night we weren't Rumble only. So we're fine on Rumble, Watchman for you, but we weren't only on Rumble last night. So that discussion will get you in trouble with the man. We got struck on we had two shows got struck the other day on channels that we've never been struck on before, and I don't. Well, one of them I kind of think I know why we called somebody out. It was Rob's sort of vid. We were kind of comical. It was more of a comedy, really, and because they were saying the president had died and all this stupidity, and so it was kind of a comedy bit that Rob did, and we got struck on. The video got struck on X of all places. I wasn't expecting that, and then we had another video that we use. We use sometimes you use one platform to plant in another platform because you don't you have to put the address there. So we actually used YouTube, and you that's the one we have to watch. We didn't have any problems with YouTube. It was another channel that we use YouTube to go. It looks great on there. I've tried every one of them, and none of them look as good as the YouTube on this particular. It's a smaller channel for us. We've got about 150 folks that watch us on there. We get a lot of views, and it's a very conservative site. But for some reason, they struck that video, and strange. YouTube didn't strike it, but they did. I tried a couple of ways, and they just were not going to let it play. And so we had to back up and just. I actually went to a third option, and I don't know. Somehow they didn't catch it right away. I went back and looked, but they may have went back and struck it too. But I actually went back and used Facebook, and they didn't catch it. And it ran. So um, I don't know. It's strange how these algorithms work, and you're like, what the heck? I don't like. Well, one was struck, I believe, for we mentioned a politician by name. Um, because he was out there running his mouth about the president. And I think it's either that or one word that was in the video. Uh, I believe it had to be those two things. There was nothing else there. It was a very short video, the whole video was less than 5 minutes. And so I think on the one it was that. On the other one, I kind of think it was either that or the. I think it was the word. I think it was the word. Rob, I would, we don't. He never does that with me on there, but he got a little carried away, and I don't even think he realized he said it. It's not a really bad word, but it is a word. I think they're pretty conservative. I think they struck it for that, which I get. I get. We try to. We try. I try. You don't hear me use those words. I try to overlook people that do. They talk different than I do. We do try to keep the program family friendly, and so we downplay that. So we ask our guests just to respect that. We're not telling people how to talk, but you'll notice that sometimes we have guests and they'll say, we let it go as long as it doesn't. There's a line we don't want to cross, but it's just the way they talk. And we realize that, and they usually, after they're with us, they'll kind of pay attention to that. And it's kind of like, when you're around a bunch of people that cuss, you kind of cuss a little more. I mean, I don't cuss, but when I did, it's easy to kind of get caught up into that. If you're around a bunch of people that do not, you tend to, sort of, you realize, you read the room, you sort of downplay it. And again, I never tell people how to talk. That's not my job. I'm not going to tell people how to talk. But on the show, I ask them to, let's not use really bad words, because we have teenagers that listen, very young teenagers too, even down underneath what would be not even considered a teenager. I do listen in sometimes. They know my granddaughter, and sometimes they'll pull it up the show and they'll say, "I seen your grandpa." I pulled the show up because we're all over everything, and they'll see that. I mean, we're on Snapchat even. We don't put everything there, but we do put some things. And a lot of kids have a YouTube channel or a TikTok or what's another one that's big with that crowd? I can't even think right now, but usually it's YouTube or TikTok that the kids see us on, and they don't comment. I have had them though. That was one of the reasons. The first guy we ever banned from the show. Uh, Great. I loved having him having him in the chat. He was really enjoyed talking to him. But my granddaughter came in the chat one night and said something, and I just asked. I did a disclaimer, and I said, "Guys, I just want you to know there's a 12-year-old in the chat." That's all I said. I didn't even say it was my granddaughter. I just said there's a 12-year-old in the chat. Just so you know, just a little reminder that watch what they were saying. And she just come in to tell me she loved me and say hey and all that. Stayed for 4 or 5 comments. Well, the guy got smart and said, what the blank is a 12-year-old doing in this chat? Told her to get the blank out. And I said, dude, you're out. I mean, that's my granddaughter. You watch your mouth. And we booted him that night. And then we ultimately banned him. He has switched names a few times and came back, but he's finally moved on. But it's like, dude, don't be talking. I can imagine me going and talking to somebody, about somebody's grandkids like that. They're like, dude, just come on, I don't need that crap. So, see ya, man. I mean, we do have to have some standards. And you're attacking kids. I'm not gonna allow chat to be attacked anyway. You can have a debate, but I'm not gonna allow attacks because it's just not right. And it's certainly not going to let you jump on kids. And they have a right. She has just as much right. She has more right to be there than he did. So I told him, you know, she, one day she's going to sit beside me as a co-host. And one day she will do her own show. She's growing. She's 13 now. She is, one day she will sit in my seat. One day when I'm gone, we're planning long term on the show, and I will grow her up to be hopefully a podcaster. I hope that she will want to continue it. My sons, we've had discussions already, in the future, who will take over. We're not going to let it die when I die. So it will be her seat. So I'm getting her used to that now. And one day, because she asked me, what will happen when you do pass? And I said, well, I'm leaving it to you guys. And so she has something to look forward to that. And so it's, she's she's on the way. Anyway, that's a lot of discussion about nothing but for me, really. But it's just ridiculous. I don't get. I mean, some people are just stupid. I mean, stupid is a disease that runs rampant through our society, and some people are just stupid. Like women that take baseballs or demand baseballs back from a kid, or steal hats, from a kid, or there's just some stupid, greedy, selfish, moron, demonic people out there, and unfortunately, we have to live among them. I pray for them all. I want them to get right with Jesus, but in the meantime, I mean, call it what it is, whether it's appropriate or not. Sometimes you just got to call it out, and you're an idiot. Just leave. I mean, I think the guy shouldn't have gave the baseball back myself. He was trying to make the I'm trying to teach my boy to de-escalate and all that. Well, you also need to teach him that there's a time to make a stand. And she was totally in the wrong. And that ball was already in his kid's glove. I don't, a lot of people are mad that he took the ball back out and gave it to her. If it had been in my hand, I'd probably got mad and just said, "Well, you want the ball? I'd have thrown it back on the field. Go get it." But she wouldn't have got it. Just Looney Tunes. Just absolutely Looney Tunes. I've seen a few people like that in my life. It's like, what is wrong with you? Like, go away. I mean, sometimes podcasts bring out people like that. There's a lot of mental issues. There's a lot of different kinds of people, but uh, I saw an AI meme of that woman taking a baseball and she morphs into Gollum. Oh, I've seen some. I haven't seen that one. I would like to see that. I saw she's they've got her like taking a frisbee away from a dog. The guy's throwing frisbee with his dog. She's up in the air, jumps in front of the dog and receives the frisbee in her mouth. I've seen another one. She's at another sporting event and taking something away from a kid. They're everywhere. This lady is famous in the wrong kind of way. She she has made a mistake. One of them has. I know it was. It was. She said, "I need this baseball because it completes the 2,000th foul ball that I have gotten. It's my collection must be complete." She she's just crazy. I mean, you don't do kids like that. So, that's why we watch our kids when we go out. You go out somewhere, and you keep an eye on your kids because freaks, pedophiles, demonic people, whatever, human trafficking. I mean, you keep an eye on your kids. I mean, the watchful eye. And I would do that in here. There's young ladies. Most of them are girls. There might have been a few guys. Most of them are girls. They there's one girl. She has tuned in quite a bit. She never says anything. She does come from the YouTube side, I think, but she does watch quite a bit. I told my granddaughter that. So that's true. Devastatingly angelic. Some people never get right with Jesus. That's their punishment in life. Their bitterness and anger will never let them be happy. That's so true. Unfortunately, it is, and I realize that broad is the path that leadeth to destruction, and many would there be that find it. I mean, some people are just not going to get right. Oh, here is the thing. I'll have to pull that up. I'll go grab that and look at it today. Thank you. But there are just evil people out there that they're never going to get right. I know, or I say they're evil. I mean, there are some people just never going to get right. But it seems that we notice those that are just crazed. When I was when we were in Florida once, I've said this. My sister was a baby. We went to the beach. They kept the baby protected, but we were ignorant. We'd never been to the beach before, or at least I had never. My parents had. It wasn't a common occurrence for us to go to the beach, and we had her protected from the sun. We didn't think about the wind, and she got windburned some. It wasn't real bad, but it was bad enough that she was in discomfort. So she's crying, and we're back at my aunt's house, and the baby's crying, and that happens. I mean, they're letting you know they don't feel good. Stupid neighbors called the cops for a crying baby down in Florida. This is near West Palm, or right in West Palm Beach, the poorer section. They certainly didn't live in the rich section. There's a lot of very wealthy people live in West Palm, but this was, it was a nice area, but it was poorer than that. and they called the cops. And I will never forget my aunt just ripped them. Like, are you kidding me? They regretted coming to that house that night. Oh my gosh! But the neighbors were complaining. We can't sleep. The baby's crying. I'm like, dude, close the window, turn on the fan or something. I don't know. I'll never forget that. I'm like, what? I mean, it's where I was from. Our neighbors would never do something like that. We were a tight neighborhood, and I thought, like, I was like, I was either 11 or 13, and I remember thinking, neighbors call on other neighbors the law because a baby is crying. I was like, what kind of people are these? Where is the milk of human compassion? And everybody's had a baby that's been colicky or sick or whatever, and can't. They're gonna cry, and I get it, summertime. I get it. Windows are down, but you just that's just one of those deals. The baby can't help it. You call the cops. I mean, come on. Never offered assistance. Never offered to see if there's anything they could do. Just call the cops. What a bunch of freaks. I remember once. Now kids will sometimes get in trouble, and my youngest son, he slipped down, and the neighbor's little boy provided the little cigarette, and behind our backs, we didn't know it. The little boy had it was probably just a cigarette butt. It probably wasn't, but like they sit and smoked a whole cigarette. But yeah, that's true. That's a true story. I'm telling you, my aunt almost went to jail that night because she, told them, "How dare you come to my house for a crying baby?" They threatened to take her to jail. She said, "Take me, take me." She said, "I promise you, when I get out, you're gonna be called back out here because I'm going next door." It was an ugly scene. I will never forget it. They finally just let it all go and said, "Just try to quiet the baby down." She said, basically stick it. But anyway, I get a knock on the door one night, and this officer says, "Yeah, your neighbor has called on you. Apparently, your son and her son got found some cigarettes somewhere, and she called them or something." I said, "Well, I wasn't aware of this." I said, "Well, I don't know why you're here. Why are you out? Why didn't she come down here? We could take care of this. We're both parents. My son, we don't smoke. I don't know where he would have got it. Well, the other boy provided it, I guess, or they got it from somebody else. It's one of those things you got to watch." I said, "Why are you here?" She goes, "Well, she wanted me to come out and tell you that you're to keep your kid away from her kid." Really? She wasted your time as an officer to come knock on my door and tell me to keep my kid at home? Well, it's an honor. I'll keep my kid at home because I don't want that going on anyway. But I got nothing against her kid. He's just a little boy that got in trouble. And so I said, "Okay, no problem. I don't need to go down there." And so he stands there, and I'm like, "Is there something else?" He goes, "I just want to be sure that you're not going to think once I leave you're going to go down there." I said, "I just told you I'm not going down there." He said, "I know, but I know how it is. You get upset. And when I leave, I just don't want to be called back out because I'm going to tell you, if you go down there, I'm going to arrest you." And I said, "Officer, I'd like for you to leave." I said, "You have delivered your message, and moronic as it is, and I realize that's not your fault. It's because of the idiot down the street that can't be a neighbor and a parent and come down here and handle things. That's fine if that's the world we're living in." But I said, "I'm not like that. I said I can control my emotions." I said, "We don't go down to our neighbors and start things." I said, "You can leave. It's not going to happen." And he said, "Well, I'm with you, brother." I was like, "Well," so he finally left. I was like, "Are you kidding me?" It wasn't 2 days later. I think the kids were playing together again. I said, "I thought she said for you not to come down there." She says, "Oh, she said it was all right." Loony. Why? I mean, why do you got to deal with stuff like it's just craziness of life. But I just got so aggravated with the officer. I was like, "Officer, I'm not going to be going. I'm not going to be going down there. I don't want to go down there." You just get crazy. I mean, it's just the way it is. You just get crazy. I had a guy one time. He was on a bicycle. I went to turn in to this little donut place, and it's early in the morning. There's not a car. I mean, maybe 5 cars in the whole area. And the way I turned off the highway, there's really not a turn in lane there. It doesn't say don't turn, but there's really not a turn in. And so I saw him riding down the sidewalk on his bicycle. And so he sees me turning in. So Mr. Law enforcement, or whatever you want to call him, Mr. Abide by the Law, he stops his bike and he starts screaming at me and he's pointing at me. And I instantly knew what he was saying. You're not supposed to turn in there. And I'm like, it's before 7 o'clock in the morning. It's just nobody out. It's really, I guess, probably closer to 6. I was going to work early that morning, probably closer to 6. There's hardly nobody out. And he's just losing his lunch, screaming at me and pointing at the street and pointing at that. And I just rolled down the window. I said, "Go on, just leave me alone, man. Yes, I broke the law. You have done your civic duty. Leave. Away with you." Oh, he got mad at that. I did say that. I said, "Away with you. I release you from your duty." I thought, I mean, if we screamed at everybody that broke a traffic law, you're going to be very busy. From going too fast, crossing over, uh, you know, lines. Can you imagine being out there at Walmart or something, and you're crossing all the lines, you're not going down the lanes? You got somebody screaming at you. That's what that felt like. They're kids. I guess people don't remember the things they did growing up. And absolutely, we're trying to teach them, and that was my point. The biggest part of it was I wasn't against the boy. I love kids, and I thought, okay, you little rascals, you deal with yours, I'll deal with mine, and I did. But I thought, what are you teaching your child? What is the message here? And Lord knows we don't need to. I get sometimes some people have bad neighbors. I mean, some people have very bad neighbors, and it's hard to deal with. I get that. But as much as we can, I want to be in, I want to know my neighbors. I want to cordial things, and as a Christian, you want to be shining your light, for Christ. And I realize it's not like in the days and this has been a long time ago. This has been 30, oh my God, about 30, almost 30 years ago. So this goes back a long ways. Neighborhoods have changed and people don't, they don't intermingle, they don't know each other. We're a very tight neighborhood. We're still pretty good here. But there are neighborhoods where nobody knows anybody. They don't know their neighbors. I know my neighbors, and we're very close to some of them. Some of them, it's just a wave. How we're there. I believe that we would help each other in times of crisis and all that. Um, but we do have. It's the neighborhood's flipped some. It's a little different. But I grew up in a neighborhood where everybody knew everybody. Everybody monitored the kids. Everybody helped. Everybody. They, they weren't. We didn't have like big community parties or nothing, but we did. People lived there a long time, and it was a very laid back, neat little neighborhood. People kept their grass mowed for the most part, and it just a nice little American neighborhood. But things have changed. But that's why I was shocked at the time. Like, and these people had moved in. They were kind of newer to the street, so I get it. They didn't know that, but it's just a time we live in, And I think I was talking to a missionary friends of mine, and a lot of countries have gotten like this. I had one; he was to Australia, and it's very hard. Here we can go door to door, invite people to church, leave them literature if they'll take it, whatever. Even try to lead them to the Lord on the front porch. Well, in Australia, that's very hard. They don't make it easy to go door to door. We're getting like that in America. Gated communities, communities that have signs up, keep out, you know, that unless you live there. There's all kind of little things people are doing, and we're insulating ourselves from everybody. We're just our little world. Forget everybody else, or it's a group of people and they don't want anything to do with the rest of the people. in the anybody else, just themselves or that little enclave of whatever. It's kind of like the Knots Landing thing. you know, you, you got your little landing of houses, and y'all know each other. But that's the thing. Used to when I was a kid, there were door to door salesmen. They sold things off the truck. They'd take orders or just sell it straight off the truck. I mean, it was a common thing. We never thought nothing about that. It goes back to the old peddlers. I mean, people driving the goods and services and wares in their wagons. That's really, I went back and looked, that's really how Atlanta got started. Of course, now if we knew what it would become, we would have ran those peddlers off. But at the intersection of railroads, they basically would come to sell, which was Marthasville, I believe it was called, but wasn't even a town there, but it was railroads crossed, and people would come there to sell because they would stop the trains and people would switch trains and all this stuff. So they would sell goods, and they come from all over, and eventually structure started being built up, and that's how Atlanta really got its start. Was from those folks that loaded the goods down in a wagon, said, "I think I can make a living here." Traveling around. So it's a hard life, but they were industrious and successful, and that's kind of eventually they said, "You know what? I could just sell here. I could build a structure, and I don't need to. I could have deliveries coming in." That's all the part of the modern. Now we're talking drone delivery, but that's what it was. That started your commerce. They just started traveling around, and they built them a place, started ordering the stuff in, getting it delivered, and just sold right there. And that's the structure start going up. And now they started your strip malls and box stores and the five and dimes and all that stuff. And now everybody's e-commerce. One day, 2 day delivery to your house. Most on many things. They're very instantaneous. Don't even have to leave your pajamas. You can just order, and soon. And in some cities, they do 1 hour delivery, guaranteed. 1 hour delivery on certain things. That's where they're going, and the drones are definitely coming to play. So I don't think the drones will be carrying a hood through the skies, but boxes, things that fit in the box that you could order. You say, "Man, we need some ketchup for supper." Get on there. It'll take another hour to get the dinner done. Let me go ahead and order some ketchup in, and you get the drone delivery. If you live in the city, or a suburb, maybe it flies down, and brings your ketchup in a box and puts it on your stoop or something. I don't know. Thank you for shopping at Walmart or Amazon or whatever. They're all in competition. You've got Amazon has a fleet of delivery trucks, planes. I mean, they're moving a lot of stuff. And then Walmart's got the Walmart Plus, and they're trying to deliver everything from, the Walmart stuff, but the pharmaceuticals and all that. They're really pushing. I'm getting messages all the time because we fill prescriptions there, and it's like, you could have this delivered for free, if you're a Walmart Plus. And kind of like being a Prime member or something like that. And they're moving all this, everything's going to that. What do they call it? What is the Walmart delivery? Spark. Spark. You got the people fighting over that. I want a Spark delivery. Everything's food deliveries, people delivery, goods delivery. People stop buying cars. I mean, they're gonna get insulated to trust the system in this. I don't even need to leave the house. What do I need a car for? I work from home. I work on the computer, and I don't need to go anywhere. I'll just order it all in. I know people kind of live their life like that. That's too radical for me, but some people. But there's a lot of things you can't experience staying at the house. You can't go to the Halloween experiences, the scary houses, ball games, whatever it may be. I don't know. Oh, crazy stuff going on in the world. I mean, that's the thing. We're not even shocked by it anymore. And the president said it'd be a bumpy road. There's a lot of bumpy things going on right now. There's still a lot of financial stuff to get straightened out. Some of them have threatened to rip up their tariff deals, and I don't know. It's just a little crazy right now. The 15-minute smart. That's right. Uh, yeah, absolutely. If you go read about that, and people scoff at you about it, like, "Oh, there you go." They get tired of hearing it, but it's true. You got. They don't want you moving around. They want to stop pollution and charge you money to go into cities and all kinds of crap. They're bringing the cities to the suburbs and in the rural areas. That's also a government plan. I've seen it in action here. They're moving affordable housing, apartments, multi-level, kind of like something you used to see in the city. They're putting them in rural areas now, and they're getting all that set up. So you'll have your high rise, apartments. Nobody. They don't want people having their little spot of land, your little postage stamp of land, or God forbid you have an acre or two. They want you all to live in an apartment or some little structure, and then you're dependent on this. You walk to school, or they come get you for school, or you got your little supermarket right there, and little strip mall's got about everything you need. It's all right there in a few blocks. The 15-minute smart city. Yeah, it's all tied together. There's no reason for you to leave your area. You've got everything you need. That's where we're headed. Yeah. Well, what a bunch of evil, demonic people. The World Economic Forum. My God, those people. You can feel the ooze of demons off of them folks. The Klaus Schwabs and others. He's not only one. There's a bunch of them. Bunch of them. Yeah, yeah. They're making plans every day to find some way to mess over the Americans. We're target number one. If they realize if they can stop America, then they've got the rest of the world eating out of their hand. They're all in the World Health Organization, WEF, Agenda 21. They're all in. Oh yes, they're hooked in. They're like fish with a big hook in their mouth. Yes, we've already got them. It's those pesky Americans. We got they. We can't stop them. They keep talking freedom. Yeah, you eat these bugs. Live in a Z pod. You own nothing and be happy. That's exactly what these people think. That's why they don't care about food prices going really high. In fact, they enjoy that. One, they're turning more money. Two is it's very easy to introduce because when people can't afford to feed themselves, then they would do that. Yeah, there are. Yes, and we're seeing a lot of folks being groomed. I'll say that groomed into these roles very early. They realize, yeah, they get to them early, get them indoctrinated, and get them ready for the next things. Absolutely, my friend. Absolutely, get them ready, get them all programmed. The robot and teach them, that it's like the Hitler Youth thing. I mean, get them all crazy and um, Ivanka Trump is a WF young leader. Me in Congress are sure. Well, right here in Georgia, our governor, he won't be governor much longer, but he's termed out, but we'll be changing to a new governor. But he went to Davos and he's all tied up into this mess. He tries to act all Mr. Conservative and everything. I don't care for the guy. I don't trust him. Celtic blacksmith. That's why I love rednecks. They'll be the last ones with real food. The cities will be the first ones to drop of actual food and switch to Z bugs. You dang right. Well, to counter that, a lot of people I know, it's being promoted out there. We would call them preppers in the past, or they would be called preppers. Is they're teaching people how to utilize all of their space to be self-supporting. Meaning, if you've got a small backyard, what can I put here, and how much food can I grow? What kind of livestock can I have that I could be self-sustaining with, good clean meats, good clean vegetables that are not dirty. all organic and all good. And there's planting guides. You can go and actually do like a schematic satellite image of your property, and they will draw all this out for you and make it really easy. And there's a lot of people doing that. They're using cricket meal and snacks in Canada. Ugh, my God. I'm not eating that crap. I'm just not going to do it. Now, when we did the family picnic, who's to say there could have been a fly or a bug or something got in the food? But as a matter of course, I don't eat bugs. I'm not eating bugs. The cricket meal makes me sound like the Happy Meal. I just see pull up. I'd like a cricket meal. I want that Klaus Schwab doll. He comes with this one, right? I've got a collection I'm working on. You know, be adults collecting all the freaks, and you ever seen the horsetail worms that come out of crickets when left in water? I believe I have. I think I have. Kind of, I think I have. Maybe not, but it seems like I have. So, oh my God. Oh, instead of I would in a cricket, in the instead of the Happy Meal, instead of a cricket meal or whatever, they're forcing you to drink some kind of special solution. You know, there'd be no meat except for the bug. Nightmare fuel. Oh, that's a nice not sound or thought. Take care of your food, folks. And these idiots, and I'll say this, I'm about to get off here in a minute. They're all have been programmed down through the ages off of other regimes that have did this stuff. And to the extent of how devastating Nazis were, they did all those, and there's others that have done it, but the Nazis perfected using food as a motivator. They did a lot of studies on that, a lot of sick, sadistic studies, not only on medical researches on kids and twins and all, but food. And they were using starvation as a weapon to force people to see things their way, or just for the sheer enjoyment of seeing how far a person would go before they would rip their friend or family member apart for food. They did a lot of that, and there's a lot of those people have came up through, and they don't see anything wrong with it because they're evil and they're probably possessed. so yeah, Soylent Green or Soylent Green. Yeah, they won't want you eating your bacon and eggs and all that stuff. They're gonna control you. Not me. Hey, folks, have a great day out there. I do have to get to work. Got special things going on. They've already kicked off a employee event. I got to drop kiddos off at school that I'm going to join into the festivities as well when I get there. And we having a wellness fair is what we're having. So people getting their different things checked or whatever. So I've got to get on to work, get these kids to school. Thank you for the support of the Southern Fried Podcast. Remember tonight, Mr. James, Empty Pockets Podcast, guest on a new series, America First series with the Southern Fried. And we'll see you then. Also, give Steve a follow over there at the Half Pine Forge, Half Pine Forge Live, and buy some things from his store, halfpineforge.com. And he goes live tonight. I think he's doing a Tuesday live. He can say if he's not. But folks, we'll get out of here. We appreciate you. And let's get a little music pulled up. And we'll do the boot kicker out. And we'll go on to work. And get these. I have to get in some sort of aggressive music having to deal with teenagers. Nah, they're pretty good. We'll see you soon.